Trigger warning. This video contains descriptions of slavery, police violence, and racist ideas. Please watch at your own discretion. If you choose to watch this video, please do what is needed to take care of yourself. For example, if the content becomes overwhelming, take a break from watching. After viewing this video, it may be helpful to engage in a mindfulness exercise. A suggested mindful practice can be found in the description for this video. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the final episode of this video series, The White Lie. Today, we're going to end our time together by focusing in on some resources to help us think through and examine the role of systemic whiteness in our lives. I also want to round out this series by sharing my own reflections on the experience of exploring whiteness deeper with you all. To begin with, I think it is most helpful to understand the ways in which our history has been whitewashed, to ignore and hide the brutal history that led us to where we are today. Hate, racism, and systematic oppression do not arise by chance. They arise as the result of intentional choices whose dark morality incentivizes white society to hide their origins. 400 Souls, a collection of essays edited by Ibram X. Kendi, is an amazing overview of the African American history that America tries hard to ignore. Similarly, The History of White People by Neil Irvin Painter looks at the ancient origins of whiteness and the intentional decisions made along the way to reinforce its boundaries over time. The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson dives deep into the Great Migration through the lives of 3 different individuals. And finally, the National Museum of African American History also has several wonderful pages on its website dedicated to the history of race. However, as important as the history of racism is, its importance lies primarily in its ability to inform where we are today. The nuanced complexities of how racism displays itself are numerous, so these resources are more focused on what the present-day results of whiteness are. Regarding criminal justice, The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander is a remarkable expose of the blatant racism of the American justice system that left my mouth open wide with shock with almost every new chapter. Similarly, the Netflix documentary 13th shows how the aftermath of the American Civil War still echoes in how we treat African Americans today. Austin Channing Brown's book, I'm Still Here, is also a great resource to hear what it is like to live as a black woman today in a world designed for whiteness. Other narratives, such as Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates, and I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou, create a vivid and hard-to-forget image of the reality of America today. Finally, I want to provide some resources focused on the question of what's next. With their allyship, healing, or advocacy, we are all capable of working together to further the cause of racial justice in our society. To that end, How to Be Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi is a foundational book for understanding the radical life change that comes from committing to intentional, daily anti-racism. Do Better, Spiritual Activism for Fighting and Healing from White Supremacy by Rachel Ricketts is also a thoughtful and provocative book focused on radical healing from the violence of white supremacy. Finally, Ijeoma Oluo's So You Want to Talk About Race is a good place to begin understanding several of the deep intricacies of race in contemporary America. So that's a brief set of resources that I hope will be helpful to you all in different ways. However, I would encourage you all to start here and continue looking. I know for me, creating this video series was a process of searching for new voices to inform what I was learning. Although whiteness is a topic that I've worked hard to become familiar with, I'm constantly struck again and again by how much I have yet to learn from the persons of color for whom whiteness is a daily experience. This series has therefore been humbling to me. I've realized that I have so much more to learn, even as I feel like my head is stuffed with the words and experiences that I've heard already. All of this is to say, I am incredibly grateful to have had the experience of exploring the history of my own race, and I'm thankful to you all for coming along with me in that journey. I hope that this will serve as a starting point for you, a place to begin to dig deeper into your own daily experience. Too often, whiteness succeeds in pretending it doesn't exist. I would encourage you all to rebel against this most insidious of lies, to deconstruct the structures of white supremacy in your lives, and to collectively heal from the harms of white supremacy. I hope you are all well and continue to seek full wholeness. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.